pro tip for camp is to open up during group time and try to make new friends.
Pro tip for camp, bring deodorant and wear it, please.
Pro tip, be nice to your student pastor.
To make the most of your time because it goes by so quick and all the experiences you make are going to be valuable for the rest of your life.
Pro tip, bring a friend to camp. Yes, camp is even better with friends.
Have you ever placed yourself in a situation where you thought to yourself, that wasn't smart. That probably could have killed me. I was about 28 years old, and I was having somewhat of a quarter-life crisis. The thought of getting close to my 30s, it made me want to pee my pants. The day of my birthday was approaching very quickly, and so my sweet wife, she asked me, what do you want to do for your birthday? Without even thinking through my answer, I blurted out, I want to jump out of a plane. With a parachute, of course. In that moment, it felt like something that would keep me young and reckless as I started to age out of my youthful spirit and vibrance. Now, to be honest with you, I only kinda wanted to go skydiving. If you know me, I'm a big hype guy. I can get lost in a moment because I just get so excited. But I said it with my chest, but I didn't mean it. I was just trying to be a silly goose. I thought for certain my wife wouldn't agree to something like this. Well, March 23rd came around and it was my birthday. I woke up, I walked into the kitchen, and there was my wife, anxiously awaiting. And she had this look of mischief on her face. As she threw me a blindfold, she said, "Put it on. I'm going for a drive." My palms started to get a little sweaty. What are we doing? I asked. "Don't worry about it," she said. I knew I was in trouble. We hopped into the car and we drove for 45 minutes to an undisclosed location. I don't know if you've ever driven with a blindfold on to an undisclosed location, but time just passes differently. It's like girl math, but blindfold math. You have to rethink how you add up seconds and minutes. 45 minutes feels like 45 years with a blindfold on. The car stopped. We got to the undisclosed location. "We're here," my wife said. My wife led me out of the car and we walked about 50 steps away from the car and we stopped. She took the blindfold off my face. And when I opened up my eyes, we were in the middle of nowhere desert. And in front of us was this massive tin warehouse with a big banner on it that said, "Skydive Buckeye." My heart started to pound out of my chest. I almost threw up. I wanted to cry. Trying to play it cool, I puffed my chest out and I acted excited as I walked into this warehouse. They sat me down on this crusty, worn out couch that looked like it came from a dump. I watched this How Not to Die video, how to properly jump out of a plane. Apparently there's a proper way to jump out of a plane. And then I signed this waiver form that basically said, "Hey, stupid, if you die, it's not on us." And then I had to sign it. I got geared up, we jumped into the plane, we took off into the air, and I started to pray, "Jesus, please let my parachute not look like Swiss cheese." We got to our peak height in the air, and it was time to jump. As we were moments away from jumping out of the plane, my skydiving pro that I was attached to made it very clear I had to fully commit to the jump. If I didn't, I wouldn't see another 28 years. I couldn't hesitate. I couldn't stall. I had to go all in. The door flung open. All I could hear was the whooshing of the wind and my heart pounding in my chest. The Skydive Pro started to count down our jump. 3! Oh no, I can't do this. 2! Please, no, I'm gonna die. 1! I should have just told my wife cake and ice cream. Jump! We jumped. I think I blacked out. My chute worked. We made it back to Earth. I kissed the dirt. It was the rush of my lifetime. Have you ever been in a similar situation? Maybe not like a quarter life crisis where you're jumping out of a plane, but have you been in a moment that required you to go all in? Maybe for you, it was asking that girl out. You couldn't hesitate, you couldn't stutter, you had to say it with your chest. Hey yo, boo, you wanna go out? You had to go all in. You had to go all in and ask her out with confidence. Maybe for you, it was a new school. You moved states, you're at a new school, and you knew if I was going to make friends, I couldn't hold back. You couldn't just float around and exist at lunch. No, you had to go all in, step out of your comfort zone, and make some friends. Maybe, I don't know, not talking from personal experience, but you lost a bet, and now you have to drink a blended up Coca-Cola Filet-O-Fish from McDonald's. I don't know, just saying. You had to go all in and drink it. You have moments in your life that require you to go all in. There's a group of 3 guys in the Bible, and they know that feeling too. In Luke chapter 5, we meet 3 fishermen by the names of John, James, and Simon Peter. One day they're out fishing and, well, they're having a hard time catching some fish. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal if they were just casually catching some fish with some sticks and hot dogs. However, this is their primary way of providing for their families. If they didn't catch fish, that means they didn't have fish to sell. And if they didn't have fish to sell, that means they didn't have means to provide for their family. So they were in desperate need to make a big catch. While they're out fishing, trying to catch some fish, nearby, there's a big crowd of people back at the shore. Now, this big crowd is gathered around one person teaching. Who was that one person? You bet, Jesus. As Jesus was finishing speaking to this massive crowd, he saw John, James, and Simon Peter ending their disappointing day and coming back in from fishing. Now, I can only imagine the conversations these 3 are having in their heads. They're rehearsing their lines they're about to have to speak to their family, letting them know the terrible news that they didn't deliver for their family. Now, right before James, John, and Simon Peter could pack up their fishing equipment, Jesus approaches them. And this is where we pick up in the story. Luke chapter 5, verses 4 through 11. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." Imagine being James, John, and Simon Peter in this moment. You just spent all day and all night fishing and you caught nothing. You're already mad in this moment because you have nothing to show your family. And then this random dude comes that's not a fisherman and he says, "Hey, go try again. I think you missed a spot over there." I imagine Simon Peter responding more sarcastically in this moment, like, "But because you say so, I guess I'll let down the nets." Nonetheless, they cast their nets out one last time to catch some fish. And this is where the story gets good. When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. Again, imagine being these fishermen. You caught nothing. You have given up all hope. And just when you feel like you're about to hit rock bottom, Jesus shows up and provides a way. I bet in this moment, as fish are starting to fill their nets, their adrenaline is pumping. Their hearts are racing. This is the rush of their lifetime, but it's not because of the fish. It's because they now understand who this Jesus guy is. Here's how the story ends. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." For he and all of his companions were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." So they pulled their boats up on shore, left everything, and followed him. These fishermen can't believe what they're seeing. They can't believe this miracle they just witnessed. In this moment, they understood who Jesus was, and that was the Son of God. And because of this, they told him, "If only you knew who we really were, if only you could see our past, you wouldn't want to hang with us." However, Jesus does the unthinkable. Jesus doesn't judge them based off of their past. He doesn't call them out for their mistakes and their sin. No, Jesus sees them for who they can become and shows them grace. Jesus asks them to drop everything, leave their old lives behind, and follow him. Jesus, he asks them to go all in. If you're in this room today, that means two things. Either one, you're going to camp, or two, you just moved up a grade and you became either a brand new junior hire or you're a brand new 8th grader. Or listen, overachievers, maybe both, and that's awesome. Regardless, here's the pro tip that I want to give you today. Go all in with Jesus. Jesus is calling you to go all in with him, regardless of what your life used to look like. I'm sure James, John, and Simon Peter, they had a messy past. I'm sure of it. I bet before this moment with Jesus, their life was complicated and it was broken. However, Jesus still wanted to have a relationship with them. And Jesus still asked them to come follow him. The same is true for you. Jesus loves you exactly where you're at. However, he loves you too much to leave you there. He wants you to come all in with him, regardless of what 6th grade looked like for you. He wants you to go all in now with 7th grade. Regardless of what 7th grade looked like for you, he wants you to go all in now in 8th grade. Regardless of what your life looks like back at home, as we go to camp, he wants you to go all in. Jesus sees you exactly where you're at, and he's calling you to go all in. Tonight in groups, I want us to unpack what it means to go all in with Jesus. Here are 2 big questions you're gonna wrestle with in your small groups. Number 1, what does it mean to go all in with Jesus? And here's the second thing I want you to talk about. What's stopping you? What's stopping you from going all in with Jesus? I get it. This pro tip is easier said than done. Completely going all in with Jesus can feel like a lot and it can be intimidating. However, here's what I hope you understand as you go to groups today. A life with Jesus is the hope you've always been searching for. When you go to camp or you're in a new grade, when you have Jesus at the center, it completely shifts your trajectory towards a life filled with hope. Students, don't hold back. Go all in with Jesus.